Today, we're going to be talking about getting started with the Rivery API. The Rivery API is a programmatic interface to interact with the Rivery console and perform many of the functions that can be done via the user interface, but instead orchestrate them via a API call using the REST protocol. The Rivery API offers extensible functionality, allowing for certain use cases such as embedding Rivery functionality into third-party tools, and also performing processes that log and archive certain activities in a Rivery account and save them to a database or other third-party logging tool. Some of the endpoints that are available are endpoints that allow you to interact with rivers, endpoints that allow you to download activities within certain environments and accounts, endpoints that allow you to download data frames and edit those data frames. And for our enterprise customers, audit events that allow you to save and archive actions and activity within an account. This example, we're going to talk about how to get started via using the River Run endpoint. But the first thing we need to do is authorize our API calls. Authorization works on a simple bearer token method. And in order to retrieve this bearer token, one needs to go into the Rivery account and create a token with the appropriate scopes for the activity that this token will be used for. So we go to settings, API token, add token, give it a name. And we recommend creating a token with the minimum amount of permissions for the endpoints that this token will be expected to access. There are many different scopes here that can be given to this token, depending on what this will be used for. But from a security best practice standpoint, we recommend picking the scopes that this token will be utilized with. So we hit create, we get this hash. This is going to serve as our authorization. And then we can set up our call within a tool like Postman. So here I've already preset up the header. So I'm going to add our token. And I've set up the request according to the documentation for the run rivers endpoint, which is right here. In this case, we need to use this URL and replace the account ID, environment ID, and the river cross ID with the river that we're interested in running. In this case, we're going to be executing a simple logic river that takes information from a table, passes it to a loop, and then retrieves, in this case, the weather at a certain longitude and latitude that correspond to major cities around the world. So instead of having to schedule this river in the platform or execute it via the UI, we're going to trigger this execution via API call in Postman. So here I put in the necessary information, the environment ID, the account ID, environment ID, and the river ID, and I've authorized the request with our token. So here we have a run status is pending, meaning that this river execution has been kicked off. And to confirm this, we can go back into the UI, go to activities, and we see here that our run has just kicked off. And we can then perform other tasks, such as checking the status of the run, downloading the account activities, all through the API endpoint. One other thing to cover is our command line interface, which extends our API by allowing you programmatic access to the Rivery console via the terminal or on any other command line utility. The command line allows you to download the configuration of any logic river into your local directory to enable use cases such as advanced version control or archiving of pipelines as they are built. You can also perform many of the functions, such as executing rivers and checking river status, via your command line using the command line interface. Command line interface runs on Python, and it's a Python package that you can install into your virtual environment, and you can interact with any of the functions of the command line via any sort of programmatic scripts that you create within Python. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing how you use our command line and API to build out your data flows.